If you like big things, you are in the right place because today it's all about big. I've got the new Nakamichi Dragon soundbar, if you can call this a soundbar. Maybe it's a soundbar behemoth. I like that, the soundbar behemoth from Nakamichi. Anyway, this Dragon is about to come out of the box, and stick around. I'll show you everything you've ever wanted to see about something this size.
Before we get started, if you're into tech, hi-fi, or movies, be sure to push the subscribe button for new weekly videos.
So I've got a full review video of this coming as soon as I get this thing taken out of the box and tested, but I just had to film this and make this part a video on its own because it's big. I mean, this thing is bigger than the table, right? Not that this island is huge, but you know, most things are smaller than the island. We're looking at 67 inches on the length of this box for a sound bar, which is redonkulous. Width on this thing's almost 19 inches. And, maybe this thing's gonna end up being a foot deep. I don't know, but that's big for a sound bar. And then on the height of this, a little more than 8 inches. So this thing is quite massive. Not super duper heavy, but, heavy enough and big enough that, it took two of us to move us around. But we're going to go ahead and get in here and see what's going on. Now, like I said, I'm not ready to review yet because, I haven't seen it yet. But, we can look at the box and it says this is 1146. Now, the 4 obviously is referring to subwoofers. And in the real vernacular, there's just one sub-channel, so to speak. But I think what they're trying to call out here is that this thing can handle up to 4 wireless subwoofers at a time, which is very different than the vast majority or any other actual soundbar manufacturer that I'm aware of. So it's pretty cool. And they've also released a new 12-inch version of their sub. So they had a dual 8-inch version, but now they have a large 12-inch version. And I've got 2 of those, and we'll be unboxing one of those here in just a minute. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this box open and start looking at the components here. With the main box out of the way, man, this is crazy. So there's one little black box, and then this looks like padded reading materials. Okay, let's. This has got my interest up now. This is completely like any other soundbar packaging that I've ever seen. Oh, look at this. This is like a book. I mean, it's like a padded notebook, Nakamichi branded. And all of the instructions are here. This is something like you'd get with a car. That's kind of cool. All right, instructions there. And then we've got black box, which I assume is a power cable, maybe HDMI. I don't know. Okay, nice braided HDMI cord, a average-ish power cord, power brick. Okay, so the transformer is outside, then remote and batteries. All right, let's see if I can tilt this up so you can see. So this is going to come in a nice bag, and the actual soundbar itself is not nearly as large as the packaging. So almost half the width of the box is going to end up being packaging, which is good because at this price point, and I think we're like at somewhere in the 5,000s for a full kit, you want this thing protected and not to be damaged. And I think this is well protected. All right, Drake, the producer, is going to come in and help me get this out of the styrofoam now. So I'm not going to get too deep into the features here. That'll be for the review, but I do want to point out the AMTs here. Those are also going to be on the surrounds. We've got some type of display on the top, and then on the rear, all of the connectivity, and looks pristine and beautiful. I mean, this thing's absolutely gorgeous. All right, we're going to go ahead and check out one of the subwoofers next. Now we're going to unbox one of the two 12s that I got with the system. And the one thing I want to point out before we actually mess with this is that this is like a real subwoofer, right? So what I mean by that is most subs that you get with a soundbar are little and lightweight and made out of plastic and, you know, kind of cheap. This feels like any other 12 that you would buy just as a standalone unit. It is super heavy and super big. So just judging by the box, there's going to be good stuff inside. All right, so let's unleash the dragon here. Man, that is a nice gold or brassy looking logo. Very striking cone here. Let's see what we're working with here on some size. Including the surround, we're at about 11 inches on the cone itself, and then all the way to the end of the basket is 12. Yeah, I like the dragon logo there. Very, very swanky. All right. Got a nice octagonal grill, which appears to be magnetic. That's a thing. Look at that. That's kind of cool. They've put a lot of attention to detail in this. Look at these rounded edges too. Now it's a vinyl wrap, which is fine, right? Little bit of texture to it, a little shiny, and then big feet here on the bottom. On the rear here, we have a pairing button, power, and ACN, and that is it. So I assume everything else is going to be controlled in some other way through the system. So maybe there's nothing else that we need to deal with, since this is a subwoofer for a soundbar. We don't need phase, we don't need crossover. It'll all be handled inside of the system. So yeah, just connect and power. That's it. Looks good. Now we're going to unbox the surrounds, and this is a pair, and these also are going to feature those same AMTs that we saw. Well, I don't know if they're the same, but they're AMTs. Maybe they're exact same as there are on the main soundbar. That would make sense from a kind of a production standpoint. They wouldn't want to have two different parts just for that. So I assume they're going to be the same, which is going to be super cool if they are. But we're going to go ahead and get these out of the box now and take a look at them. Again, without a doubt, this is the best packaged soundbar I've ever opened. Just bar none. Okay, these are crazy. Okay, there is a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack here. The accessory box contains two power cords, as that these are wireless. That's the only cabling that you need. Now, it looks like we've got the two MTs, some kind of mid-range driver array, and then a spinny speaker on top here, which you can adjust and aim. We'll get into all of this in the actual review, but this is the most flexible surround speaker for a soundbar that I've come across to this point. Now, I did ask if this was like, because these look like dipoles or bipoles, right? But I asked and they said no, that these are discrete channels and they are not just a kind of wide radiating speaker. And we'll get into that more when it comes time for that with the review. But yeah, I got to figure out how to get the grill off of this so we can all take a look inside of here, because these things, they spin around. They have different positions. You can go 1, 2, or 3, which is kind of interesting. You have a button here to connect and then just power on the back. But these are the surrounds. I'm super excited. So in any event, that's the Dragon. Now, you didn't see me unbox the other subwoofer, still sitting over there. I'll pull out of the box. But we're going to do two 12-inch wireless subs with that massive soundbar and these surrounds with a total of 7 AMT tweeters, which is redonkulous, right? That's really cool. They call it the Dragon. I think I'm going to call it the Behemoth. I really like it so far. Anyway, if you like this one, there'll be another video down in the corner. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. I'm going to take some aspirin for the damage this did to my back, and keep your eyes peeled for the full review, because it's going to be a good one.